Now we're getting to the point of a sale, and I love when my clients do things properly and get rewarded for the amazing work that they've done over time. Hi there, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Conscious Counsel podcast with your host, Cory Sterling. That's me. As always, the promise of recording these episodes is to help you protect and grow your wellness business with both confidence and clarity. In this week's episode, I'm going to talk about a really fun and exciting topic, which is preparing to sell your studio. Had an awesome adventure with a client last week that's turning out to be very, very promising and exciting. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the legal things that go into the process of preparing to sell your studio, which is, for me, the most exciting thing. The reason why this is important for you to listen to is because if you have any business essentially that you one day would want to sell, I'm going to talk about some of the more important things that you need to have in place in order to prepare for the sale, as well as talk a little bit about the process of how you actually go about selling the studio or your business and some different legal marks along the line to make sure that you're focused and in alignment. So the first thing to know is that my client has run a yoga studio for more than 20 years. They love the business, but it's also all that they've ever known. And they're now finding themselves in a position where they're like, I actually think maybe there might be more for me in life than running this studio, which I love doing so much. And so I want to sell it. And so they found a broker, and the broker started fielding some offers and getting some leads and having conversations. But also what they found was that one of their members at the studio actually was the most interested in it and made a comment of, oh, I actually wanted to get some equipment for my home, but it's too complicated with our living space, and I've been looking to get a space. And it's sort of like, voila, the universe brings it to you. And so my client and this prospective buyer had a conversation and were like, oh, cool. I could be interested in selling my studio. What does it look like? And what could it look like moving forward? And so from a legal standpoint, I'm going to explain a little bit about how the process works, but I also just want to add a couple of things that are really important. So one is the importance of registering a trademark for your business. When someone's buying your business, usually they're buying the assets, the physical things that you have for your business, but also they can be buying the goodwill of the business, which is your brand, your reputation, your client list, the recurring revenue from all of your members, and all of these things are included. And the more assets you have that are more valuable, the higher the sale price can be. And in this instance with this client, they've had their business for a lot of years. They haven't registered a trademark for their business name. Everything else is taken care of. They got their legal documents through us. And we got on a call and I set them up with an NDA so they could start the process. And the first thing I said was like, hey, let's register this trademark ASAP, because the value of you being able to sell your brand with the registered trademark is so much higher than if you don't have it. And it's one of those things that client pays me to register the trademark. We submit the application. Automatically, you can put 3x of that amount on the asset sheet. And it's like an immediate way to make money. So that was really, really cool. The next thing that we went through was coming up with a process for my client to make sure that they are taking advantage of every step of this process as possible. And the first thing I said to my client was like, firstly, okay, look, this is going to be a learning experience and you're going to learn exactly as you go. Maybe we'll sell to the first person, maybe we won't, but it's important that you have the right processes and steps. Luckily for me, being a lawyer, I've done this for almost 9 years, and I've helped, maybe more than 10 clients sell their studios. So the first time I did it, I didn't have as much experience as I have now, but now I know. And so I said to my client the following, okay, firstly, we've got the trademark registered. We've got all your legal agreements in place. Awesome. We're in great shape to start. We're going to get the person to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, say, hey, we're going to give you some basic information. And if you're interested to move forward in doing a full due diligence, which is reviewing all of the numbers for the business, making sure that there's no outstanding lawsuits, making sure that all taxes have been paid, doing all of that, that all of the teachers' employees, all the contracts have been signed, the intellectual property is registered, all of these different things. If you want, because we have other people who are interested, we're going to sign basically a letter of intent, an LOI, and there's going to be a $10,000 deposit that you're going to pay. And for that $10,000 deposit. If you move forward with the sale, the $10,000 goes to the sale price. If not, for 30 days, we're going to give you exclusive rights to do all the due diligence, give you full access to everything, talk to the studio, talk to the teachers, understand a bit more about the community, and then decide if you'd like to move forward. And this document's so important because I've been through so many sales in the past where clients get really excited. There's someone who's a potential buyer. They sort of want to move forward and they won't take a deposit, or they think that the deposit's too much, or they have some reservation about why or how they can't do it. And then they end up losing other prospective buyers, and the person who is interested has no skin in the game. So, okay, cool, sure, I'll take a look at this and decide what to do. But really, it's so important to make sure that that process is solidified, and that if you are not fielding offers from other people, it's because you have received a deposit from someone to exclusively give them the opportunity to purchase. Now, just to outline the process, because right now this is where I am with this client as we speak, as I record this, that the NDA has been signed, the trademark's been registered, and we have the $10,000 deposit. Now they're going to go through a due diligence period. We're going to support however they want. Obviously, this client signed up for a Conscious Counsel Plus membership, which just makes things super easy because now I have unlimited access. We're on WhatsApp. We're chatting all of the time. The next stage would be an asset sale agreement. And something that's really important to know about asset sales is that, firstly, when there's a sale of a business, it can either also be a share sale agreement or it can be an asset sale agreement. A share sale agreement is when someone buys the whole company, and then that person is responsible for taxes for that company and all of the liabilities related to the ownership of the company that owns all of the assets, or you're simply buying just the assets, which can be the equipment, which can be the goodwill, the IP, everything else. And now the stage that we're preparing for is we're going through the due diligence stage. The deposit has been paid, and now we're getting ready to draft the asset purchase agreement. And the one thing that I just want to say that's so important to know, and I always say this when I talk about legal things, is you can choose it to be any way that you want it. So in this case, it's really important for my client that there's a succession plan, and knowing that the teachers and the studio manager that help build the studio are taken care of. That's absolutely imperative. And so when I was speaking with my client and we're coming up with the terms for the asset purchase agreement, they say, oh, well, can I include this? Can I include that? I'm like, look, you can do anything that you want. You're allowed to do anything that you want. And if you want things to be contractually obligated so that the staff have the option to stay on, or the staff get, some sort of payout or whatever it is, you can do anything. And it's such an important piece because if you've worked 20 years to build a studio, you 100% deserve the opportunity to deal, to sell the asset as works with you and whatever feels in alignment with you. All I want is my clients to feel in alignment. So I wanted to take time to share this week's episode on this important topic because it's really cool. It's awesome because this is a client who I've been through the whole cycle with, in the sense of we met, we did all of their agreements, employment agreements, waivers of liability, membership agreements. Now we're getting to the point of a sale, and I love when my clients do things properly and get rewarded for the amazing work that they've done over time. And we prepare the NDA, we register the trademark, we come up with a letter of intent, which ensures the deposit is paid to my client and also includes an exclusivity possibility for the buyer. And then the next step is the asset sale agreement. And that's when a bunch of money lands in your bank account and you get to share what you've created with someone else and then start a new chapter of your life. So I hope that this information was helpful for you. I hope that it resonates, and that if you've got a business that you're building and one day have a vision of selling, feel free to just hop on Instagram, shoot me a message and say, hey, Cory, I'd like to know what legal steps I can take today to make sure that I can sell my business in the future, because that's all that I want for you. I want you to have the possibilities of financial freedom. I want you to take your business in any direction that you want. And I want all of it to be done properly in accordance with the law. So with that being said, remember to make sure that you work with a lawyer who loves you. And I'm sending all of my best until next week's episode. Peace.